A quiet shift inside the Gosselin family has now captured national attention, and it all begins with one daughter's decision to speak carefully, but publicly, about her past. For years, the Gosselin family existed under the bright, often unforgiving spotlight of reality television. As America watched Jon and Kate Plus 8 unfold, viewers believed they understood the daily life of the Gosselin household. But behind the camera-ready smiles and neatly organized scenes, deeper family complexities brewed. And one of the children at the center of it all was Hannah Gosselin. Now 19, Hannah's recent public comments, along with her major decision years earlier to move in with her father Jon, have reignited national discussion about what was really happening in the family long before audiences noticed any signs of fracture. Her story is not a dramatic exposé or a sweeping accusation. Instead, it reveals a more subtle truth: the emotional weight carried by a child growing up between two parents who lived both privately conflicted lives and publicly curated ones. While Kate Gosselin has insisted that communication with Hannah still exists, and Hannah has avoided delivering any direct criticism against her mother, the change in where she chose to live, and when she chose to make that change, has become one of the most analyzed elements of the family's history. And as viewers revisit the timeline, many are asking whether this choice signaled something larger happening behind closed doors, or whether it was the decision of a teenager seeking autonomy in a life shaped by cameras and conflict. This renewed attention places Hannah at the center of a conversation she never asked for, but can no longer avoid. Before the controversies ever made headlines, Hannah's childhood was already far from typical, shaped not just by family dynamics, but by millions of viewers watching her grow up. Born as one of the Gosselin sextuplets, Hannah's earliest memories unfolded not in private playrooms or quiet backyards, but in front of production crews and television audiences. Jon and Kate Plus 8 turned everyday family interactions into national entertainment, offering viewers a front-row seat to sibling chaos, parental disagreements, and logistical challenges of raising 8 children. While the show captured the Gosselin household as humorous and relatable, experts familiar with the pressures of child stardom have long noted that constant filming can affect how children perceive their home environment. In interviews over the years, former crew members and industry professionals have described the unique strain placed on families whose daily lives become serialized content. Though neither Hannah nor her siblings have extensively detailed their early emotional experiences, public court records and statements from both parents over the years confirm that the household faced significant stress the public rarely saw. Even before Jon and Kate's highly publicized split, viewers had started noticing tension between the parents, often displayed in episodes but not explicitly acknowledged on screen. For Hannah, growing up as part of a brand, not just a family, meant that her earliest years were shaped by a level of attention few children ever experience. And as she grew older, that attention became harder to separate from the real-life decisions she would eventually have to make about her well-being, her identity, and her relationships with each parent. Her early life, captured in edited episodes and network promotions, laid the groundwork for the complex choices she would face as a teenager seeking stability beyond the camera's reach. The most telling signs of deeper family strain didn't appear on television. They surfaced in the decisions the children made once the cameras stopped rolling. After Jon and Kate announced their separation in 2009, the Gosselin family entered a prolonged period of legal disputes, public statements, and shifting family dynamics. Court filings during those years documented disagreements over custody, financial responsibilities, and continuing the reality show. While the public primarily focused on the parents' deteriorating relationship, the children were also navigating the emotional fallout. Over time, several of them began expressing different preferences for where they wanted to live. One of the most notable decisions came from Hannah, who gradually started spending more time with her father. At the time, Neither Jon nor Kate offered detailed explanations, but the change was significant because Hannah had previously lived full-time with her mother along with most of her siblings. Custody arrangements in high-profile families are often shaped by factors the public cannot see: emotional comfort, individual needs, and the developmental challenges of growing up in a divided household. According to statements made by Jon in later interviews, Hannah's desire for more independence and a different home environment became increasingly clear as she entered her teenage years. Meanwhile, Kate maintained in her own public comments that she supported her children's well-being and respected the legal processes in place. For reporters following the Gosselin family timeline, the pivotal question was not simply why Hannah made this decision, but what it revealed about the long-term climate within the home. Her move did not come with dramatic allegations or explosive claims, but the quiet nature of her transition suggested a deeper personal calculation, one motivated by her own sense of comfort, identity, and stability rather than public spectacle. A single move across households sent a louder message than any public statement, and it reshaped the narrative of the entire Gosselin family. In 2018, Hannah made the decision to live with her father, formally shifting her residence after years of spending limited time at Jon's home. While young adults moving between separated parents is not uncommon, the significance of Hannah's choice was amplified by the Gosselin family's long-standing visibility. Jon described her decision as the result of ongoing conversations about her emotional needs and personal comfort, emphasizing that she sought a calmer environment and a lifestyle that aligned with her own preferences. Meanwhile, Kate did not publicly oppose the move and maintained that her relationship with Hannah remained intact, though separate from the public eye. The transition marked a notable departure from the family structure that viewers had become familiar with during the show's run. It also highlighted how drastically the children's lives had changed since the cameras had stopped recording their daily experiences. For analysts who have studied media-influenced family dynamics, Hannah's relocation offered a rare inside indicator of how former child reality stars navigate autonomy once they gain more control over their personal decisions. Hannah's move also came during a period when several of her siblings were facing their own challenges, contributing to a broader picture of a family adapting to post-reality TV life under far more private, but still highly scrutinized, circumstances. Although the move did not include public criticism of her mother, the significance of her choice and the timing raised questions about what life had been like in both households during the years following the show's end. Her relocation became a key chapter in understanding the modern Gosselin family dynamic, one shaped not by dramatic televised episodes, but by subtle shifts in trust, comfort, and personal growth. While Hannah has remained measured in her comments, other voices around the family began raising questions that reshaped how the public viewed Kate Gosselin. Although Hannah herself has avoided making negative claims about her mother, public perception of Kate shifted significantly after other members of the Gosselin family began speaking out. The most prominent comments came from Hannah's brother, Colin, who described his experiences during his years away from the family in interviews and public statements. Those reports sparked significant debate, with Kate strongly disputing several of Colin's accounts and asserting that his behavior and needs were more complex than the public understood. News outlets covering the situation stressed that the claims remained deeply disputed, with no definitive resolution or unified family narrative emerging. For Hannah, these larger controversies created an environment where any decision she made, including her move to live with Jon, was interpreted through the lens of conflict rather than personal choice. Media analysts have noted that once a family becomes a public brand, every private disagreement or divergence can be magnified in ways that overshadow the actual lived experiences of the individuals involved. Kate's supporters argue that raising 8 children under intense scrutiny created unique challenges that outsiders cannot fully understand. Her critics point to various accounts from family members as indicators of deeper household strain. As journalists continue to report on the evolving Gosselin family dynamic, the contrast between Hannah's quiet approach and the more vocal statements from others underscores the complexity of the situation. Her silence on the more controversial elements does not confirm or deny any version of events. Instead, it reflects a young adult choosing to protect her privacy in a family that has rarely been granted any. This context shapes how audiences interpret her choices, whether or not she ever provides further explanation. Now stepping into adulthood, Hannah's actions, more than her words, are painting the clearest picture yet of her family reality. As she enters her adult years, Hannah has focused on building a life that stands apart from the media whirlwind that defined her childhood. She graduated high school, began exploring entrepreneurial interests, and appeared in occasional interviews where she emphasized her positive relationship with her father and her desire for independence. When asked about her mother, she offered brief, carefully measured comments, explaining that communication still existed while avoiding specifics about their emotional closeness. This deliberate restraint is consistent with a young adult managing the legacy of a highly publicized family past, while trying not to reignite old conflict. Analysts note that Hannah's approach, selective, minimal, and focused on her personal journey, suggests a conscious effort to distance herself from the family controversies that continue to circulate in the media. Her choices also highlight a broader theme among former child reality stars. Once outside the structured environment of televised life, many seek to redefine themselves through quieter, more controlled narratives. In Hannah's case, her move to live with Jon, her limited public comments, and her pursuit of new opportunities all reflect a young woman shaping her future without relying on, or reacting to, the family drama still surrounding her. Whether she ever chooses to share a more detailed account remains unknown, but her current path suggests that her priority lies not in exposing the past, but in establishing stability and autonomy. This evolution offers viewers a final takeaway. Sometimes the most revealing truth is not spoken outright, but shown through the choices someone makes when they finally have control over their own story.